Spin your passion into a business with Shopify and break sales records with the world's best converting checkout. Let's hear that one more time. The world's best converting checkout. Shopify's legendary checkout makes it easier for customers to shop on your website, across social media, and everywhere in between. Now that's music to your ears. Any way you spin it, you can be a smash hit with Shopify. Start your $1 a month trial today at shopify.com/records.
All right, it's going around the internet again. Oh my gosh, it seems like every other year. Yes, Apple is working on developing new smart wedding rings. This way you can find out your partner's location, where they've been, and if and when they take their wedding ring off. Okay, this all started back in 2007, but I started thinking about this. I don't know what's more shocking, that Apple really does have the technology to build a smart wedding ring, or that 2007 was 15 years ago. Oh, my gosh. Think about that. Hey, it's Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun show about all things digital. I'm Kim Commando, of course, and joining me every week for Tech Refresh, of course, there's Allie Seligman, our amazing content queen. Hello there, Allie. And what do you have coming up for us?
Hi. I've got good stuff today. Apps that you need to get off your phone because they're full of malware. Okay. And then another crypto hack, a big one this time, $100 million.
And then we have our magnificent millennial, our dedicated internet scout, and our very own TikTok star, Matthew Heffel. And how are you going to astound us today?
We're going to talk about some amazing space news. I know I say the word amazing a lot, but this is truly amazing space news, as well as some Johnny Depp internet controversy. And it's not what you're thinking of.
No, it's not?
No.
Really? All right. Just want to remind you that Tech Refresh is brought to you by our free guides. I don't know if you've checked these out, but if you go to commando.com/free guides, it's a special thank you to you, our listeners. And these are insider secrets for Windows and Mac. We're talking about search tricks to find your files and programs in a snap, keyboard shortcuts, quick photo editing without downloading any extra programs, messaging shortcuts. And yes, they're absolutely free. So if you're on Windows, you can get the Windows free guide. And if you're on Mac, yes, you get the Mac free guide. So go to commando.com/free guides and get them right now. Limited time offer. All right, we're going to start with the news. These are some important tech developments to keep you in the know. And if it's up to Mark Zuckerberg and other big names in tech, we're all going to be part of the metaverse someday. Are you guys excited about the metaverse? No, these virtual worlds, we're going to spend all of our free time. We're going to go to work there. We're going to buy things. And even in the metaverse, we're going to be able to do the horizontal mambo. That's right. You walk around as little digital avatars, and it might be hazardous to your health. The Wall Street Journal compiled a list of people who've been hurt, some seriously, all while playing games in VR. For example, just hours after opening this VR headset that he got as a gift, this 14-year-old kid in Baltimore, he lost his balance and he fractured his kneecap. Okay.
Oh, man.
Right. A 12-year-old in Michigan accidentally slammed his right hand onto a desk when he was playing a game called Gorilla Tag in VR. But listen to this. When he slapped his hand onto the desk, he lost his nail on his middle finger because he slapped it down. Okay. A 30-something-year-old man in Florida bled all over his living room after cutting his hand while boxing in VR. Okay, if you think that he learned his lesson, a couple weeks later, he broke a vase while playing VR tennis, prompting his wife say, why can't you just go to the gym like a normal person? Okay.
Take away his VR, please.
Okay, just a couple more. A guy fighting a tiger in VR dislocated his shoulder. This is crazy. A man accidentally punched his girlfriend in the head. Okay.
Oh, no.
All right. She was okay. And he says that's not the reason why they eventually broke up. Okay. A guy in Louisiana, listen to this. A guy in Louisiana dove headfirst into his 75-inch television while in VR on the metaverse. So there's a Reddit group with about 100,000 members with stories like this. And it's called VR to ER.
That's good.
But, think about this. Farmers are using virtual reality. This is a true story. Farmers are using VR to enhance cows' moods and increase milk production. We've talked about it here on the show. And they say that it really is working because it's a mood enhancer. Oh, I know that was bad. I'm sorry. Okay, Matt, it's up to you to bring us all back. And you're going to be talking about space?
Yeah, let's fly off to space. I was doing some research for this story, and at first I was researching this satellite that they sent to the moon. So they sent this satellite to the moon. It's the size of a microwave, and they're just testing out a new orbit that will be where the space station that eventually will be orbiting the moon. But on that same page, I saw a link. It said, Mars orbiter gets Windows update. And I said, what the heck? So I clicked and read this. There has been a Mars orbiter since 2003. It's the European Space Agency's Mars rover. It's called the MARSIS, and it is trying to detect underwater or underground water deposits on Mars. And they think they spotted some a few years ago. So they spent the last 4 years updating this satellite to get out of Windows 98.
No way.
Now, I was trying to find which they updated it to. I was like, well, maybe they updated it to Windows 11 or Windows XP. Who knows? It turns out they don't want to tell us what it is because they're afraid that if you can get into their system, then you know what codes to hack and all that stuff. So
I was just going to say, Allie, we all know, because they don't want to tell anybody, we all know it's Windows XP. And and somewhere there, we have a listener here on Tech Refresh who's saying, I told you, Kim Commando, that Windows XP was the best. Yes.
Even the space stations.
Yes.
So.
and I thought it was really funny because it took them years. So imagine sitting down at your computer and you have that little blue screen that says Windows updating and it's 0%. And you come back a week later and it says still 0%. That's what that would be like.
Wow, that is something. I mean,
yeah,
you wouldn't have thought. I don't know, maybe it's not me. I just thought we would have maybe a more sophisticated version of Linux or something going on. Yeah. I wonder, do they still have Clippy in Windows 98?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about Clippy and wondering if that little Mars rover is using Clippy for...
Do you need help finding water on Mars?
Yes. Can I help you with that? Would you like me to reference this? Okay, Allie, you are talking about bad stuff.
Oh, real bad stuff. Okay, first a pop quiz. What do these things all have in common? Gin Master, Kung Fu, Ghost Push, Hummingbird, Pegasus, and Hermit. Anybody? Anybody? They are all smartphone malware. Yes. And Hermit, the last one, that is all over the news. You probably heard about it. Not because it's from some hacker group who's trying to, steal your Facebook logins or see what you do on your phone. It's government spyware. And it's so bad that Google actually started warning people, hey, this is on your phone, which never really
wait
happens.
a minute. It's government spyware? I mean, is it from the United States and we're putting it out there?
No, don't get too worried. It's not happening here in the US, but still, this stuff is so crazy that it's worth talking about, and it ended up on a lot of iPhones and Android phones. So Hermit was created by this Italian company. It's called RCS Lab, and they say they work with governments, this is a quote, to give technical support to the lawful enforcement agencies. Okay, cool. Italy and Kazakhstan bought it, and they used it to spy on journalists, activists, politicians. And the crazy thing is the way it spread. So it wasn't, we get those texts that's like, hey, it's your bank. Click on this. And that's how malware spreads, right? Well, we know if you're listening to this podcast, you're too smart to fall for that. And a lot of these people would be too, right? So instead, this company sent out texts. Basically, they worked with phone carriers. They shut down the mobile data to these people's phones. And then they sent them a message that said, hey, to get your connectivity back, you have to download this app. They had to download the app to get their phones to work, and it downloads the malware onto the phone. And then it's full-blown spyware. It really is. You can't use your phone, and so you're going to do it.
What else can you do?
Exactly. So then, yes, it's recording audio, the screen, keystrokes, every single thing you do. Like I said, not happening here in America, but it is pretty darn scary, and it's proof of, how this kind of spyware can spread. There are, of course, other strains of malware spreading here all the time. There always are. In fact, I just found 3 apps that are still live in the Google Play Store that are full of adware. That's the stuff that fills your phone with those pop-ups. If you ever download an app and then notice, my phone's really hot. My phone's got a lot of weird ads. My phone is just doing weird stuff.
Those are some big red flags right there, Al. You're right.
Very much so. So these ones, if you have an Android, check your phone. The first one, Pip, P-I-P, Pip Pic Camera Photo Editor. That has 1 million downloads, by the way. So these aren't little apps.
I think I might have downloaded that one. Sounds
No.
familiar. Yeah.
Oh. Pip Camera 2022 is another. And then my personal favorite, wild and exotic animal wallpaper, which somehow has 500,000 downloads. The photo editor and the camera apps also steal Facebook credentials. So, Matt
Yeah.
and anyone else, if you have these on your phone, please get rid of them right away.
Matt, I don't know why. I'm just disappointed.
Hey, it's when I started to do TikToks and I was trying to find a video editor. So I don't know for sure, but I did download some of those free video edit and picture editors. So
Well, and that's a really good point, right? Because you would think, hey, if this is in the official app store, it should be safe. But they're not. They're not always safe. One thing you can do, look at the reviews. If you see anybody saying, hey, my phone's being a little weird, look for words like pop-ups, ads. Those are always indicators. But yeah, sometimes you just don't know until it's too late.
Yes, you have to be very, very careful, especially in the Google Play Store. It's a little bit better in the Apple Store because they seem to vet
True.
apps. But especially when you start going Google Play. And then those third-party app stores, okay,
Never, ever,
don't.
ever.
Just don't do that. Just don't go there. You don't want that to happen. All right, coming up in just a few moments, we have some great tips. We're going to talk about how you can get into email marketing for $0. And then Matt's going to tell us how you can clean your earbuds the right way, not the wrong way. And then Allie's going to be talking about taking your texting to the next level, so stay right where you are. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, welcome to Tech Refresh. As I like to say, it's your weekly fun podcast about all things digital, but there's more tech know-how. If you're not getting the Weekend Kim Commando show, you are so missing out. You can get it commercial-free as a podcast, as a webcast. Just head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And, Allie, let's talk just for a second about the webcast, because you come on the web show, right?
I do. We have a lot of fun.
We have breaks, and you always give us some great tips, and we have some wonderful videos at the end. And this week's video at the end is phenomenal. That's all I'm going to say. It's just the video at the end of this week's weekend show is, I picked it myself. It's going to be,
Yeah, I saw it.
It is so good. Just get over to getkim.com right now just for that video. Forget the 3-hour show. No, you're going to love the 3-hour show, and you're going to get all the breaks and all the good stuff. And again, that's over at getkim.com. You get a 30-day free trial, and after that, it's just a few bucks a month. All right, this is the time of Tech Refresh. We like to share some insider secrets and tips to make you sound smarter. And let's talk about email marketing. I noticed on the show that I've been getting a lot of calls from small businesses because I think people are now starting their own businesses in big ways. And it's always like, how do I get the website? And then how do I get new customers? Because if you build it, they will not come. They won't. They're just not going to come. So research from the Data and Marketing Association, they say that email marketing has a higher return on investment than any other digital marketing channel. So you might think to yourself, oh, well, that's all fine and dandy, but I don't know anything about email marketing. And you definitely don't want to do like what a recent caller does. He had over 350 names in his Outlook address book and just sent them all out bad. Because then you have to track it, like who's not there, you don't even know who opened it, good stuff like that.
You forget to BCC.
Oh, you know what? That's just nasty. I mean, I'm on a neighborhood watch, and there's 70 neighbors, and she puts everybody in the to field. And
Terrible.
So every time somebody responds, it's like, oh, thank you. I'm like, oh my gosh, stop it already. I actually dropped her a text. I said, CC is the way to go. All right, and about email marketing. So you want to use MailChimp. They have a free plan for email marketers. It works up to 2,000 contacts, and you can send 10,000 monthly emails, which is a lot. Okay, so you might be saying, well, How does MailChimp make their money? Well, when you make a sale in something, you have to pay a 2% transaction fee per order. So, in other words, you only pay when you succeed. You don't have to worry about spending an arm and a leg and getting into it. But what I like about MailChimp and also Constant Contact is that you actually get templates. So you can just put your little pictures and data in there. And then also, that it works across Android, iPhone, right? Windows, Mac. You don't have to worry about any of that. Open rates are one of the best ways to tell whether or not your email strategy is working. Now, the number shows what percentage of your audience are actually opening the email that you send them. So a good open rate is anywhere between 15 to 20%, right, Al, Matt?
Yeah, especially for smaller lists.
Yeah,
Yep.
something like that. Our open rate on our Commando Show newsletters, over 50%,
Yes.
which is amazing. And how many
Fantastic.
emails do we send every month, Allie?
Millions and millions of emails.
Yeah, millions. I think the last number I saw was like almost 20 million. And,
Yeah.
and Matt, even though he has malware on his phone now, he puts them all together for us. And
Yeah.
so if you're not already getting the Kim Commando Show newsletters and the podcast newsletters, is head over to commando.com/subscribe. And Allie, which ones do you think people should get?
Certainly the current. That's my favorite. We have a lot of fun putting that together. It's twice a week. Smart tech news, tips, all right there in the email itself. I think alert is a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we let you know about any big warnings if you need to get rid of things on your phone. We do, recalls, stuff like that. And then I really like the Windows newsletter. If you're a PC person, we do awesome Windows tips to get more out of your computer. Yeah, those are my picks right now.
And they're all just so darn good. Commando.com/subscribe is where you sign up. All right. So we're going to move from email marketing to Matt's gross AirPods.
Everyone's gross AirPods.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you clean them like I have been starting to do. I use my AirPods an insane amount. I basically never don't like the fact that I don't have one in right now is insane. I sleep with one in. I like to watch videos as I'm falling asleep, so I always have it in. So they get really, really gross. And for the longest time, I was doing very stupid things to clean them. I would, use thumbtacks or whatever to try to get it out and stupid stuff like that. So we recently posted a article on commando.com. You should go check it out. And it gives you the right way to clean your AirPod. So what I do is about once a week, maybe once every other week, I'm going to take out both of my AirPods and I'm going to grab a Q-tip and a microfiber cloth. I'm not going to use any chemicals or anything. I'm just going to use water because you don't want to get that stuff in your ears. You don't want to get that stuff permanently in your AirPods. And then I'm going to just have a little tiny cup and don't dampen your Q-tips too much before you do that. You don't want to actually get water. Just make sure they're slightly moist and then just get in there and get all that stuff out and make sure the whole thing's clean. Once you get the inside done, then I take a microfiber cloth, which, if you have glasses, you can use a glasses cleaning cloth. I found that those work really well too. And just get the outside of it clean. And then don't try to get too deep in those things with your fingers. My fingers won't fit in the little holes. So what I use is that Q-tip, just push it down in there and get those bottom little pieces of gunk. And that way, none of that stuff you want to have in your ears all the time, especially if you wear your AirPods as much as I do. Make sure you keep them clean. They get gross real quickly.
I'm glad you gave up the tax.
Yes, exactly. One of the things that I love that you said yesterday when we were talking about AirPods is that you had one in your ear. Just
All
when
the
we were
time.
and we were like on a Google Meet. And I said, so why only one AirPod? Why only one? And what your answer was?
Well, I always like to have one ear open in case my fiance's yelling for me.
Oh.
I don't want to not be like in earshot.
Oh, I thought that was sweet.
That is very sweet.
Okay, Allie's text messages.
Yeah. So I don't know about you two. I get a lot of texts and it's easy to lose track of things, right? Somebody might send you a question or an address or something, and you're just going to forget about it. And then you have to go dig and find it. So this is a handy little trick. You can pin text messages, either individual messages or just a whole chat, and I'll show you how. Now, it's not always the case, but Android actually does a little bit better than iPhone at this one because, on an Android, you can pin any message that you get as a text. On an iPhone, you can only pin a link or an image. It's still pretty cool, though, and it's worth doing. So say, Kim, you send me a link to an article, and I don't want to lose it. I want to read it later, but maybe I'm out doing something. Hold down on the message, and then you'll see a little pin icon. On an Android, it's actually a star. So pin it or star it. And then I go back into my messages, I click on you, and then I'm going to click the menu or, your initials, your photo, whatever it is. And then you click pinned messages, and I can see everything from you that I've pinned.
That's
How
so
nice.
cool.
So this is really good. Say somebody sent you an address, they sent you a detail that you don't want to forget. You can also pin an entire conversation. So if it's the people you talk to most, or I think this would be really good. Maybe you have somebody older in your family and they, kind of lose you in their messages. Yeah, go ahead and show them how to pin your conversation to the top. To do that, you just hold down on the message thread and then there's a option that says pin. So super easy. Matt, you do this, right?
I do. I do this and I pin my parents. So I have my mom and my dad and myself in a single chat, and it's always pinned to the top of my text messages so that it's always right
Look
there at
at
the top.
that. Pinned messages, one earbud. What a guy.
Hey,
Okay, so speaking of text messages, I have a pet peeve. And
is
I don't know if I should actually say something to the person. So there's somebody who I deal with, and when they want something from me, okay, they will call, okay, and if I don't call, they will text the question. And within the call and the text, and then comes an email with the same question in a matter of like 4 minutes.
No.
Okay. So do I say something to this person? Like
How often do you have to deal with this person?
Yeah.
a lot.
I think you should have a conversation. I think you should say, here is the most reliable way for you to reach me. Let's stick with this one.
Instead of going like all these different points of contact. And I'm like, oh my gosh, make it stop already. Oh,
Give me a
that's a
second to
lot.
respond. If it's
yeah,
within 4
exactly.
minutes, it's like,
That's what I want to say. I'm like, back off, Barbie, Just
Yeah, I think you should say
give me a
something because
second.
if you don't, someday it's going to happen and you're going to lose it.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
blow. You're right. It's going to be like,
And you're going to reply everywhere with, leave me alone.
leave me alone. Or the little down thumb, just like, stop.
Unsubscribe.
Well, I will take your advice and then I'll let you know how it works out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Coming up, we're going to have what everyone is talking about on the web with our dedicated internet scout. Of course, that's Matt. We have trivia, and also it's my turn this week for a funny joke at the end. And I think it's not a 10. It's not a 10, but I think it's a solid 7 or 8. That's what I think. Solid 7. So stay right where you are. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Hey, welcome back to Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun podcast about everything digital, and Allie and Matt are here. And Allie, we have a new ebook up on Amazon. What's it all
We
about?
sure do. It's about freelancing. This thing is in depth. It's awesome. So if you have a hobby, a job that you want to take and start doing on your own, something that you maybe do on the side, or skills you have that you want to turn into a business, we will show you the entire gamut of information you need to know to get started. So how to make sure your business is legal, how to make sure that you're getting paid right, how to find customers, how to market yourself, the best tools to use. This thing is awesome. It's a really, really good in-depth guide to making a bunch of money.
It's fabulous. And so you can find it on Amazon. Just search for Commando with a K, of course. And now Allie is not only our amazing content queen, she is our official crypto princess. That's right. And so crypto news isn't so good lately, right?
No, $100 million stolen. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But first, something very exciting. We got a listener email from our pal Jerry.
Oh, that's right. I saw that come in. And you can send us
Yeah.
your questions to podcasts@commando.com. And Jerry wanted to know about a wallet, right?
He did. So Jerry is an avid listener of both the Kim Commando Show and Tech Refresh. Thank you, Jerry. We appreciate you. And he said after listening to me talk about crypto and podcasts that he wants to take his coins off of Binance and put them in a physical wallet. He said he did an Amazon search and was pretty overwhelmed because there's so many options. So looking for a little help. All right. It's a smart move, Jerry. There are a lot of wallets out there. So I am glad that you asked. I would go with one of the two major cold wallet makers, Ledger or Trezor. You can get a Ledger Nano S for about $60. The Trezor Model 1 costs about $85. I'm going to email you links to both the official stores so you know that you're getting the genuine product. Keep in mind, though, these cold wallets, these aren't really ideal for moving money around often. So if you want to do things with your crypto, if you plan on, exchanging it, doing other things, you're going to want to go with a web-based wallet. For that, we've got links on Commando. Just search crypto wallets, and I wrote an article back in April. You can see all the options there. And remember, whether you go physical wallet or the web-based hot wallet, your seed phrase is super, super important. You're going to get that when you set it up. It's usually 12 or 16 words. Don't lose it. Write it down, like actually physically write it down, hide it, and never, ever share it with anybody. If someone tells you that they're tech support and they need your seed phrase, they are lying and they're trying to steal your money. And if you lose the seed phrase, you lose access to your money too. So really make sure that you have probably a couple redundant copies hidden in different places and keep that stuff safe.
Very important stuff, especially, I know it's not a happy topic, but, with your estate paperwork, might want to put your seed phrase with all of that good stuff.
That's a smart idea, Kim. Yep. Okay, back to the hack. $100 million in crypto stolen from the Harmony protocol, which is a blockchain. And the hack was to its Horizon bridge. So bridges are used to move money from one blockchain to another. So say I want to, exchange my Ethereum for Bitcoin, I would use a bridge. And they're really popular targets for hackers because so much money moves through them. There have been 3 other big bridge hacks this year for $80 million, $320 million, and $622 million. The math is not pretty. We're looking at over $1 billion in bridge hacks this year so far.
You know what? It's hard to think about that. I mean, that's $1
$1
billion.
billion.
It's huge.
Yeah, it really is huge. So Harmony offered a $1 million bounty. They said, hey, give us the money back. We're not going to advocate for criminal charges. The thief certainly did not take it. They stole $100 million. Why would they take the million? The person, he or she, exchanged all the funds for Ethereum tokens, and then they moved a bunch around, and they started sending it to something called Tornado Cash. What a name, right? Tornado Cash.
Cool.
So Tornado Cash is a mixer. Sometimes it's called a tumbler. And basically, this makes it impossible to trace crypto transactions. Now, if you're thinking, isn't this all anonymous? How do we trace it in the first place? Not really. So if you know someone's wallet address, you can see money moving around. So say, Kim, you send me 10 ETH. Thank you. I appreciate that. I send 2 to Matt. Maybe I send 2 to Jeremy, 1 to Danielle. And if you know where to look and you know our wallet addresses, you can see all this happening. You can see it. It's basically like if I could look at your bank account, if I knew the number and I could see all your transactions, it's the same. So Tornado Cash, you put in money, it mixes it up with a bunch of other funds, and then it gives you back the same amount to whatever wallet you want, and there's no trace to the original. So basically breaks that connection so you can't see where the money went. Now, there are certainly some legitimate privacy reasons that you might use something like this, but mixers and stolen money are, a real peanut butter and jelly situation. Lots of them have been shut down. There have been arrests in some cases. Money laundering is actually pretty tough to prove, though, and Tornado Cash is different because it does all this automatically, through code. So if they got in trouble, maybe the founders could just say, hey, we can control what people do with our code once we put it out there. Who knows if that would actually hold up in jail, but they certainly haven't been shut down yet. Now, if you were thinking, there must be so much money laundering in crypto. Well, fiat, or regular currency like dollars, is actually used in money laundering 800 times more than crypto. Like, criminals still love cash. So you would have to launder all the crypto that exists about 3 times a year to match how much cash is laundered. So it happens, but cash is still king for crime.
Yeah, well, because, with the cash, it's untraceable, right?
There you
I
go.
mean, you spend $1, but now it isn't so much so because everywhere you spend that dollar, there are cameras, right? So it's everywhere you go. All right. Thanks for that, Allie. That was super interesting. All right. So, Matt, you're on the internet, TikToks. You are a dedicated scout telling us what the heck is hot online. And You say this week it's Johnny Depp because of the trial?
Kind of not really. So it relates to the trial, but people aren't really talking about the trial itself anymore. This week, there was, let me go back. During the trial, he had said, "Oh, I will never go back and work for Disney again. I won't go back and do Pirates of the Caribbean." And he was quoted as saying, "I won't go back even if they pay me $300 million, is what he said. So, this past week, it was reported that Johnny Depp agreed to come back and play Captain Jack Sparrow on Pirates of the Caribbean for $301 million. And so this was going around TikTok, this is going around Twitter for a couple weeks, maybe about a week or two. And then it got so popular that it was trending on Twitter. Eventually, his publicist had to come out and say, "No, this isn't real. It's just a hoax. So it's not true." But that brings me back to, there have been times in the entertainment industry when, things that are rumored or things that are said online and people say, no, 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 but then it ends up coming true. For example, there's a 1990, I believe, 8 movie called Hocus Pocus. And if you remember that movie, so Bette Midler was the star of that movie, and she came out a couple years afterwards and said, "I don't think I'll ever want to make a sequel to it." Well, guess what comes out in September? Hocus Pocus 2.
I love that movie.
So, such a good movie. So that's exciting, but, that's the whole point, is that sometimes rumors turn out to be true in the long run. You never really know. But I wanted to end by telling you guys an interesting Disney fact about the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
I love that ride. I think
do
that
too.
is such a best.
It's the best ride, for sure.
Always nice too in summer. Like if you're at Disneyland in the summer and it's so hot, and then you go there and it's like cool, and maybe you get splashed a little bit.
Well, there's always been rumors that the skeletons that are in there, that one of them may be real. And it was confirmed that when they first opened, or back in 1967, a few of the skeletons were actual borrowed skeletons from the UCLA Medical School. Since then, they said they've gotten rid of them, but some of the people that work there have, quote, confirmed that one of the skulls is still a real skull. So when you first go into the ride and you see the bed there with all the gold and everything, there's a skull just above the bed, and it's confirmed by employees that is still a real human skull. So, I know.
A pirate's life for me. Can we sing the song?
Oh, the yo-ho?
Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for
But
me.
speaking of Johnny Depp, he just won that defamation case, right? I mean, he just did. Or was it misheard? Get it? Do you get it? I know. Sorry about that. Hey, listen, stay right where you are. We have a better joke coming up, and also trivia, and Matt's going to try to stop us. So stay right where you are here with Tech Refresh. How'd you like to hear about how I saved $456 in just 5 minutes? I used an app called Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Can you remember all the free trials and all the other random subscriptions that you've signed up for? Of course you don't, and that's what they're banking on. I love that with Rocket Money, I can see all of my subscriptions in one place. Then if I see something I don't want, I just tap to cancel, and I never have to get on the phone with customer service. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year, with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. Stop wasting money on things that you just don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/Kim. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim. Yes, it's Tech Refresh. It's your weekly fun podcast about all things digital. And just a quick reminder, a special thank you to our listeners. You can get free guides, insider secrets for Windows and Mac. Just head over to our website, komando.com/free guides. Once again, that's komando.com/free guides. All right, it's time for trivia. And Matt, yesterday when we were talking about Tech Refresh and everything was going on, you said, you know what? I have the best trivia ever.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever get this answer.
I think I got you guys this week. So I might have mentioned yesterday that it was about something that I was researching yesterday for some of my topics.
Space or Disney?
I was lying. So,
Oh.
I tricked ya. We all know Kim Commando as America's digital goddess, but there have been other gods of technology. Which of the following was the name of the Greek god of fire, metalworking, stone masonry, forges, the art of sculpture, and technology? Greek god of technology. Was it A, Hephaestus, B, Dionysus, C, Hestia, or D, Herendicles?
Oh God. I just
I'm gonna
want
go
to.
B.
I just want to say Herendicles. That's just all. Okay.
Don't say that on the radio, Kim.
I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that one just because I don't know anything about Greek mythology. How about you, Allie?
I'm gonna go B. Dionysus.
B, Dionysus.
Yeah.
Well, you are
Oh.
both wrong. I gotcha.
Was it A?
It was A.
Oh.
A was Hephaestus. Now, I wrote down what the other ones were so that you know. B, Dionysus is the god of wine, vegetation, fertility, festival, ritual madness, and religious ecstasy. Hestia is the goddess of domestic and civil, hearth, sacred, and sacrificial fire. So,
Ooh,
Oh.
okay.
and then Herendicles is a name I just made up. So,
It sounded real to me. It really did. Every time, a man's name can be
Sure.
Dick, right?
Yeah, Richard.
I
yeah.
mean, Richard, my father's name was Richard, and my people call him Dick. And so when I was working at Unisys, my boss's name was Dick.
Hmm.
And
I
so,
love this story.
so I went through my whole performance review, and at the end, he had HR there. He said, we really need I need to mention something to HR and to you, Kim, that sometimes you say my name in an offensive manner. And I said, I don't know what you mean, Dick. Oh, no wonder why they loved me there.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for a joke? Okay,
Yes.
this is at the end of Tech Refresh. We always have a joke because we like to keep people smiling. Okay, now, I don't think it's a 10, but I think it's a solid 7 or 8. Okay. Are you ready? Okay. A man was just browsing on Craigslist one day and he came across this insane deal. It was it was a good as new Porsche for just $20. He says, "Oh, this has to be a prank. This should be like, maybe $20,000, maybe even $200,000 if it was a rare Porsche." But he says, heck, I got nothing else to do today. So he calls the gal up, sends her a text and email, and she gives her the address, and he goes out, and it's a big mansion, clearly owned by somebody who can afford a nice Porsche. But waiting there is a woman who takes him into the garage. Sure enough, and inside, it's a full-size Porsche with barely a dent on it, almost new. And he thinks, well, maybe the engine is broken. It can't be repaired. Or, maybe there's got to be something major wrong with this car for just $20. So he says, "Do you mind if I just drive it around, the block?" And she says, "No, not at all." Drives around the block, works like a charm. He's convinced it's no joke. Goes back to the man. She's like, "Seriously, lady, you want like $20 for this Porsche? And why is it so cheap?" She says, "Well, it used to be my husband's." And he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry that your husband passed away." She said, "No, no, 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 no. He's still very much alive. But he ran off with his beautiful young assistant a few weeks ago. And he sent me this message from the two of them in Bora Bora." The guy says, "Well, what did he say?" My new ex-husband says, "Sell the Porsche and just send me the money." That's probably
That's
has
good.
happened. It probably has. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that was not a 10. Was it
It
a
was
good?
good though.
It was okay.
I'm gonna 8 maybe.
An
I
8?
say it was an 8.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go
okay.
7. I'm gonna go 7.5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
7.5. Okay. It was
Okay.
it was more than a 7. I thought it was about a 7. And so whose turn is it next week for the joke?
Me.
Ooh. You have some
Gotta
big
follow
shoes
that
to
one
fill.
up.
Yep,
I
you're going to
do.
have to do that. Hey, listen, just a reminder that we love to get your feedback, and you can send us email to podcasts@commando.com. Once again, that's podcasts@commando.com. And don't forget, get those free guides while they're still free and while they're still there, because we're going to start selling them probably on Amazon in just a few months, weeks, days. We don't know. So commando.com/free guides. And if you like our podcast, make sure that you give us a nice 5-star rating, say some kind words, tell your family members and friends. And heck, even stand on a corner with a sign spinning saying, "Get the Commando podcasts, get the Commando
Why not?
podcasts." And if you do that and send us a picture of it, we might even send you an official Kim Commando Show fanny pack. Right? Limited edition Kim Commando Show fanny pack. So, Allie, anything that you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Go to the website. If you have crypto like Jerry and it's still in Binance or Coinbase or one of those other services, go check out that article. Search Commando for crypto wallets. Check it out. See if you want to switch your money over to a web-based wallet. Maybe you want a hardware wallet like
Exactly. I got all of mine off of Coinbase.
Good for
I
you.
was like, this is just not a good place to keep crypto right now. How about you, Matt?
I talked a little bit about that Windows 98 update to that space station. We have a full write-up about how that happened over on the website. So go over to the website and check that out. Give it a read. Yeah,
It is a fun story. That was a great find, Matt. Thank you. Thank you, Allie, too. And thanks for listening. We couldn't do this without you, the listeners. That's right. So we appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll see you again next week here with Tech Refresh.